Welcome again to Sharing Your Experiences. This time I'm bringing you to Anorax Dev, one of the greatest person I have ever met. He's extremely smart. When I met him like 12 years ago, he was just a small young guy with a lot of ideas and a lot of dreams in the school. Nowadays, he has been working in the freelancer world for such a long time that it's time to bring some of that knowledge to the public world and share what he has learned. I would like that Anorax Dev tell us a little bit about him and what are his current experiments.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, it was yeah, you're right. It was 12 years ago. I totally forgot about that. I remember that we were at one of the parties in the school, and like a friend of mine introduced me to you, and we just started talking, and immediately clicked. And yeah, we've been friends ever since. So good thing that happened. As of me, I'm a software engineer. I focused on web and mobile, and I'm getting a little bit into blockchain stuff. And I've been doing working professionally for 8 years, and I've been working as a freelancer for 2 years. And I've been working from home ever since.
And what has been the greatest experience about this transition from the professional world to the freelancer world?
Man, there's a lot of big changes. First, well, I had always I always wanted to work from home. I remember that I was at a one of the big companies that I was working for. One day they just happened to have problems with the building. They had pests. I don't know if it was rats or roaches or I don't know whatever it was, but they sent everybody in the building to work from home, and I was the only one that was happy about it. All the other people that were working for that they were really sad. They were, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with having like the family at home and having to work at the same time. It's they for many of them it was difficult to get used to, but I was the happiest of all the building. uh, so what has changed? There is a Let me think. Okay, so number one, getting switching from a corporate environment to being your own boss, it's a completely different game because you when you're working on a regular job, you have your static paycheck that you get every single month. So it's pretty stable. You have a particular way of doing things. For example, when you have a big project that you're working on, you don't do it yourself. You're part of a team and you're doing a small portion of the entire work. And you have bosses that, well, you have to do whatever they say no matter what. Like if you don't like what they say, if they're making bad decisions, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to you have to just follow along. But with freelancing, number one, like there is no stability. You basically like sometimes you work and sometimes you don't, especially in the beginning. The one thing that I did develop that I hadn't foreseen before was like your ability to negotiate. Because when you're talking to a client and you're discussing the deal, you want to make sure that you don't get the short end of the stick. Because that did happen a few times where I did a project and the pay was really not that great. And eventually, like, it's just something that you calibrate and you get better at. And not always, but many times you have to do entire projects from scratch. So in my case, I enjoy doing that. I enjoy just building the prototypes. And in 2 years that I have been doing this, especially like many projects from scratch, I have learned more than 5 years in corporate America. Like my skill set has grown astronomically ever since I started doing this, because I had the opportunity to do things from the beginning and like to have a full understanding of the entire project. And I do like the idea that I don't have to choose. I can choose my clients. Like I've talked to multiple people who wanted to offer me a contract, but there was something about them that didn't really click with me. I don't know how you call it, maybe intuition, but something told me that they were not good clients. So I just rejected the deal and won't have to worry about it.
And did you have any fear when you did this transition from the corporate world to the freelancer world? Did you
Oh
face any
my
kind of fear?
Yeah. Uh, so it was not fully my own decision because I got laid off. So when I got laid off and I was at a really awkward spot where okay, you have 5 years of experience. That means you have too much experience for the lower jobs and not enough for the high end jobs. So I remember just sending application after application after application and nobody would hire me. And at that point I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to do freelancing. I've always wanted to do my own project, so why not take advantage of the situation? And not, another thing is that at that point, because I got laid off for the third time in a row after doing everything that I was supposed to do and being an excellent employee, an excellent professional, I still got laid off. So that gave me the I'm sorry, there's a motorcycle in front. That taught me the lesson that there is no such thing as stability in this industry anymore. Like there is no such thing as fixed jobs as long as like full-time regular jobs. That is already starting to disappear. So if it's starting to disappear, why not embrace it and go with the flow? So I started. So yeah, it was definitely a lot of fear. I was extremely scared, but at the same time, I didn't want to go back to an office. So yeah.
And what will be any advice that you can give to new people who are joining to this freelancing world?
All right. So there's a few things. Number one, if you're gonna become a freelancer, you have to make sure that you're good at what you do. I'm talking top 20%, because otherwise you're gonna have like otherwise you're not gonna make money. You're gonna be working for peanuts. There's a lot of programmers that are willing to charge a lot less than you. There are people who among them who don't value their time and who will work for pennies for doing very complicated projects. Probably they will do it wrong and not being very professional about it, but there are people. So the only way for you to survive freelancing is by being really good at what you do. That's one thing. The second, if you want to start for freelancing, there are three ways of doing it. There's let me think because I remember I have names for the three of them. Okay, there's the easy way, there's the hard way, and there's the hardest way. So the hardest way is that you begin totally from scratch and you don't have who maybe you have experience, maybe you don't, but you don't have a portfolio, you don't have networking, you don't have a reputation, you don't have anything. So when you're in that situation, basically you have to work for free in order to develop a reputation first. So that process usually takes about a year of working for nothing until you start getting the real good contracts. That is the hardest way. The hard way is, well, it's a combination of a few things. Um, the hard way is basically when you first already have a reputation and then you transition into freelancing. This one, it's also long because, for example, I'm talking about email marketing. For example, you have your regular job, and in your free time you start blogging, maybe you start making videos, you start making something to to convince people that you are a good developer. And if you keep doing that and uploading content, it takes about a year for like people to start emailing you and telling, hey, I want you to do a project for me. And that one is hard, and it's slow, but you don't have to work for free. And the easiest way, which is what I did, it's networking. So if you have somebody that you know that you want to that wants to give you, or that needs an app done, or needs some kind of software done, you you just tell them, hey, I can make it for you, as long as we do it through whatever platform that I'm using. In my case, I'm using Upwork. So I'm gonna tell the little story of how I got my first job. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I went to this. There's this guy that I like to follow on the internet. He has a blog. His name is Tynan, and he has done everything. He has started businesses. He has traveled the world. He's he's done a lot of really interesting things. He's written books. He's lived in an RV. He did the minimalist lifestyle. He has a lot of things to teach. So, and he made an event. He called it the Superhuman event, where he would invite 10 people to spend a weekend with him, and from of all the 10 people, he would dedicate 1 hour specifically to you, so you can ask him questions. It was not cheap. It was kind of a bit pricey, but it was definitely worth it, because like I didn't really know what I was getting into it, but something told me that it was a good idea, so I did it. And I went there, and I went to his conference like 2 or 3 days after getting laid off. So everything had changed. So I went, and I met a lot of really interesting people that I still talk to this day. Well, one of the other people who went to the conference just happened to be in need of a contract, of an app. So he has his own business. He was a real estate business. I did needed an app, a mobile app for whatever. So I said, sure, I can do it for you, as long as we do it through Upwork. And that's how I got my first contract. I didn't have. I only sent in my resume, and after checking some references, he decided that it was a good idea to move forward. That was for me the best way to begin on to start an Upwork, because I'm saving a year of my time of working for free in order to finally get a good contract. Well, I got a good contract from the very beginning. So yeah, if anybody wants to move to freelancing, definitely networking, and if you can also do content creation, like make a combination of the two for maximum results.
And if you would like, or you have any tip that you could share with the people before ending this interview, which one will be, Andreas?
One tip. Well, it takes a lot of willpower to do this. Make sure that you really want to be a freelancer, because there's a lot of ups and lots of downs, and there you will struggle a lot more, especially in the early stages of freelancing, than a regular corporate counterpart. So make sure you really want it.
And do you have any website or any, let's say, or your portfolio or anything where people can reach to you on Anorax Dev?
Yes, for sure. So you can go to my website, which is andreasellerbrock.com. I'm sure you'll put it in the
Mm-hmm.
link description somewhere. And I also look me up on YouTube. My username is Anorax Dev. I am on many alternative platforms, such as, well, I'm in the mainstream platforms. I'm on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube, but also on the alternatives, which are BitChute, Minds, Gab, and Library. So I have content in all of those platforms, and thank you for the opportunity, Federico.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anorax Dev. And hopefully you're going to keep inspiring the people, because freelancing, as you said, is becoming our regular jobs and the future that is coming, because change is always good. Thank you for everyone. See you
My
the next time.
pleasure.